What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Side Hustle Experiment podcast. Today, we are just going to catch up, kind of riff, give you guys some value. So yeah, let's just get into it. What's going on?
Dude, nothing much. I want to get into your stuff first. So you had a interesting last week, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I was speaking at the Books and Beyond conference. The moderators did a great job. So it was Rake and Profit, Joji Davenport, Victor, and Avery. All have been on this podcast, I think. Yeah, it was awesome. It was in Las Vegas. The only downside was I got sick for sure. Like these last 2 days, we missed a flight, which kind of sucked. So some guy on our plane ride home, I think he was drunk or high or something. He was just like sitting there and they're like, oh my God, there's something wrong with him. And then like they had to call the EMT and they laid him down on the floor. And like he wasn't diabetic or anything like that. So we think he was like high or drunk or something. So then the plane had to circle all the way back. And we missed our connecting flight by, I don't know, 5 minutes. Like we literally get up to the thing and it's like closed. And we're like, shit. So we got there at like 10 p.m. So obviously there were no more flights. So we had to stay over in Charlotte one more night and then take a flight home that morning. It just sucked.
Dang, I bet the guy was high. You know how people take edibles and get on planes? Guarantee it was one of those things. He was just panicking or something.
100%, because it looked like he was. They like laid him on the floor.
He was panicking?
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Definitely.
So I was just like, oh my God. Like everyone's like, oh, he's diabetic. Because I could like kind of see him diagonal. I was like, I don't know. I think he's just like drunk or high or something. So yeah, that was super annoying. It just like kind of screwed everything up because like we were gonna get home at midnight, which sucked, but it was like, oh, I'm just gonna sleep in and start the day. But instead we lost like the second day as well, which sucked because like we flew out at 9:30. We were delayed there, got home at like 12:30. By the time it's like the day is over basically.
Wow, that's annoying. Well,
Yeah.
what about the conference? Like, what kind of tell me about Vegas a little bit?
Conference was awesome. It was really geared towards booksellers. Whatnot was a big topic there. No one really talked about the influencer program, but it was just like a really good mix. A lot of it was like actually OA book arbitrage. Just super interesting. I mean, if you guys want to check that out, check out Joji's episode where we interviewed him on this podcast. But what I will say is I would say the booksellers are making bank.
Really?
For sure. Like margin wise, margin percentage, especially in the OA department, it's insane. Like some of the examples that they were showing, like real life, not like, oh, like this bottle, if you buy 12, it's like, no, here's like the order from the customer. Here's like 100 of them. Like making 100% ROI on these books and stuff. And making like $50, $60 profit per book.
Dang.
Absolutely insane.
Well, was there a lot of people there?
Yeah, there's about, I think with all the speakers and everything, there's probably like 120, 130. It's a good turnout. It's their first one too.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, how about Vegas? Did you do anything fun besides the conference?
Besides the conference, yeah, we did a couple fun things. We went to this ice bar that was made all out of ice, which was pretty cool. We did walk like all the casinos. What else did we do? Eat some good food, gambled a little bit. Nothing crazy.
Did you win?
No, I lost $100.
That's
which is
bad.
not bad. Like I kind of look at gambling too. It's kind of like the entertainment value. So if you lose $100 like right off the bat, it's like, oh, that sucks. But like to be entertained for a weekend and lose $100, like I'll take it.
Yeah, I think I used to watch a bunch of gambling guys. Like I was into poker when I was in college and stuff, and I would always hear people talk about like if you're going to gamble at a casino or whatever, you need to either go in with here. I have $300. I'm going to lose it all. This is basically like $300 for drinks or $300 for This is just pure entertainment. Or you need to go in with like 10 grand and you'd say, okay, I need to make 5 grand, and then as soon as I make 5 grand, I'm out. That's like kind of how you have to do it. If you go in there and try to hybrid it between, I hope I make money and I hope I have fun, you're just going to lose all your money. That's exactly what I did when I was in Vegas. So, yeah.
I feel like that's what Dana White does.
Yeah.
I forgot what his thing is. He's like, oh, if he wins the first hand, he like walks away.
Yep.
I forgot what his deal is. But then I also got to play. I played video poker with Jameson, so we filmed some content for that.
Isn't that fun? Video poker is awesome at that.
It was so much fun. So we were doing it. We were up at one point, I think 60 each. So we each put in like 20. So like just combined. So it's just better that way. And then we lost 40 right off the bat. And then we're like, go one more 20. So we put one more 20 in. And we caught like a hot machine. And then we went up to, I think, as much as 180. So we were at 60 each. And then we broke even.
That's sweet. So, well, the other thing I was wanting to talk about was this podcast coming up. Well, I don't know if we mentioned it on here, but we're going to do this 6-person thing. You've talked to, I guess, most of these people because I know Rakin hadn't replied, but you said that you'd talked to them. Yeah. What did he say?
They're all excited for it. So for those who don't know, we're going to do like a 6-person podcast, kind of a Q&A / I don't know, roundtable type of thing. Just free flowing conversation. I don't think anyone's ever done it really. So we're excited for that. It's going to be most of our popular guests, so the podcasts that have done really well. We'll have all those people, and it'll be reselling. It'll be everything, reselling, just common questions. Maybe try to get like a more look inside their life more than just reselling stuff, but like a holistic picture. So I mean, I feel like that's going to go really well. So we're going to get that scheduled and figured out as well.
Yeah, one thing that's awesome about all these guys that we're bringing on here, and like this has been my favorite part. It's why they're like some of my favorite guests, is because they talk more than just the business stuff, like a real personal type thing, especially like Jameson and Duke talked about that too. I think that stuff's cool, especially because right now, where I'm basically a beginner in the business stuff that I'm doing, I think it relates a lot to other people. Because if you've only been doing Amazon a few months, a year, the beginning stuff's really just all in your head. Just like, do not quit. Your life's not collapsing. And hearing these guys on this pod, it helps me a bunch. So I know it's going to help other people too. That's what I'm like so interested to hear, how these guys get through some of these mental things. And
yeah, I feel like a lot of the the conference I went to this weekend, a lot of it did have to do with like overcoming like adversity and just kind of like all the shit like Amazon like throws at you. You have to be willing to pivot. You have to be willing to, I don't know, just deal with it and figure it out. And I think a lot of what gets lost is people just quit. Like, I just don't know. Like, a lot of people are getting, well, we've talked about it before, a lot of people getting these Section 3s. I don't know. What is your take on this? Because I was thinking about some of the questions. So I have a 2-part question. So for this Section 3, let's say you were where you were when you like at your highs. So you're doing like what, 2 million a year, something like that.
Yeah, like 200K a month, big months.
You get a Section 3, and how would you handle it? Is the first question I have.
Probably ask the top guys I know in RBOPs and stuff back in that day, because those guys are really good at that. But you mean like mentally, or do you mean like?
So I mean mentally, and then I'm going to ask the question I really want to ask.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that one thing is I just never was over leveraged, like very rarely. So luckily, like my goal was to keep over 10 grand in my business account. So if I had over 10 grand, I'm like, I know I can survive off this, because I just don't live very lavishly like that. Now I have more expenses than I even did then. But yes, I would be like, whatever. I was ready kind of to lose it all. And I didn't think about it the way I do now, how dangerous that was. But I kind of was just ready to lose shit all the time. Because you've heard these stories of me losing loads of money. Like I guarantee I've made over 800 grand profit, maybe $1 million profit since 2020 overall. Like in 4 years, I guarantee I've made over $1 million, but I haven't even actually made close to that because I've lost so much money. So it kind of is irrelevant to me when it comes to that. I don't know. I don't think I would have just tried to get over. If I didn't, I would just do something else. eBay probably. Just started selling eBay.
Okay, so the follow-up question, would you want to continue to sell on Amazon? Let's say you beat it. Would you be like, all right, I'm going to go all in?
Hell no. No.
So this is what I don't understand. Like, I see a lot of this. That's kind of my take as well. They're like, I can't wait to beat my Section 3 and like start scaling on Amazon again. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, Amazon's going to hold like 100 grand worth of your shit and you're gonna double down.
Yeah, isn't that's what's that called when somebody when a guy kidnaps a girl and she falls in love? That's Stockholm syndrome. That's what I think people have. Yeah. It's like you kidnapped by Amazon, then they're mean to you, but you love them now. So you just I don't understand that at all. I mean, maybe and that's where the difference between like perseverance and just being a little dumb, I think, comes into play. Like I saw these two guys; these are like two of my best friends in this whole Amazon thing. They're both like mentees of mine. They were arguing over Twitter because one of them said, "Amazon's too risky. I have zero debt now. I'm just doing this one thing, and I'm doing other stuff on the side." The other guy's like, "You got to take the debt. Um, this is just how you get rich." And he put this video of this guy talking about like persevering and taking big risk, and the big risk pays the big rewards. And I get that. Like both those guys are right. But the difference is this Amazon shit hasn't produced these big winners. Like they're not out there all over the place. Like these guys that are making $1 million, $2 million, and that's nothing. Making $1 million a year, making $2 million a year. Yeah, it's massive when you think of it, but it's not that big. Like not that big at all. There's guys that make $50 million a year, $100 million a year. So you like making $1 million, $2 million, and the chances of you getting there are so low. I don't know anybody that does that literally that makes $1 million cash themselves a year. I don't even know if there is one. On top of that, your risk is super high. The risk versus rewards off. It's not that you shouldn't take risks. I'm taking a massive risk with this stuff that I'm doing. I'm burning money every single day, but I also know that if I make it work, I get it to 10K a month, I can sell a company for 300, 400, 500 grand while I'm still cash flowing on that. That's the big difference with the Amazon thing. I don't think people understand. So yeah, if that happened to me, that's where my mind went anyway. So that's what I would think. It's like, this is very risky and there's not a ton of reward at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah, I guess the difference would be to like a trying to persevere. I guess to give a better example, would be like you had a Facebook ads account shut down. Like obviously you know how to run offers or whatever. Would you get another Facebook ads account? Like of course,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Because there's no risk either way. You're not paying for a Facebook ads account anyway. You're just trying like to start it again.
Yeah, and they don't hold your money. Like
Yeah.
Facebook has that's just a money engine. Now, it's even, there's just so much competition in the marketplace when it comes to just running an offer in general. Like, dude, there's 1,000 payment processors and you don't have to run Facebook ads. You can run Google ads. You can run organic traffic. I can pay for affiliates on TikTok or Instagram. I can pay for podcast affiliates. There's like unlimited ways to get traffic, unlimited payment processors. If you get banned from ClickFunnels, you get banned from Go High Level. Okay, there's another site builder. Damn it, you can build your own site. You can literally just get a WordPress account and code your own website. So there's like so much competition that doesn't really matter. With Amazon, you sell your products on there, you get paid through there, you ship through there. There's like, it's got a big monopoly on the thing. And you can't just go to eBay. Like you can, obviously Jameson was talking about doing that, but what, to make $3,000 a month or whatever? Like what are you doing there?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk at the conference too about like diversification, not having all your eggs in the Amazon basket. It was just like really interesting to kind of see like other perspectives. And I think one of the scary parts is too, I think it's just not scary, but like when you say something like that, everyone on social media be like, well, you're a loser. Like you can't grow this. Like oh man, you're just going to sell information. It's like, no, dude, like diversification. Like I'm not going to get caught with Amazon having all my money.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw this guy.
happen.
I saw this guy hating on this Samuel Ecom guy. He's one of the biggest drop shipping type guys, and he has a brand. I think it's not drop shipping. I think it's more branded, but they do $20 million a year. His company, it's like a clothing drop shipping company. And okay, so if you do $20 million a year with clothing, what's his margin? Probably 20% bottom line, and he has a partner, so he's making less than $1 million a year, and he sells a mentorship thing, and it's like 10K a pop, and people are like, why is he selling info? He has this $20 million company. It's the same thing. It's like, the guy's going to pass up 10K just from these people that want to pay him 10. Like, what the hell are you talking about? He's not making $20 million a year, and how much, even if he does make $1 million, okay, so he still has to reinvest in a new inventory and hire employees. Like, so the margin gets dwindled when you have like an info thing. And yeah, I think the diversification thing is good. Yeah, I've noticed it more and more. I think a lot of people, it's not a huge option because, not everybody can be a guru and sell stuff, but you kind of can. I have this is actually a good story. I don't know if I've told it on here, but I had this guy that found me on the internet, like through completely not Twitter, not Instagram, not anything like that. And I like taught him how to set up an Amazon account. It's one of the first beginners I ever took from like 0 to 1. I never coached those type of guys, but I was like, I'll help this guy. And he was very like headstrong about it. Had a great mindset, overcame drugs, all this different stuff. He was just going to make it work. So he eventually gets to like 25K a month, and our mentorship's just running out. And he's like, hey, can I still talk to you? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I'm not selling on Amazon. This was like just earlier this year. But I said that he was like, well, how do I scale this thing? Because I don't have my job anymore. He quit his job because he was making, I don't know, like 3 or 4K a month with Amazon, but he had enough savings. He was like, I can scale this thing. Like, this works. And I said, hey, man, you have like Instagram followers. He had like 1,800 Instagram followers. I said, how you need to scale it is to put on your Instagram and become like an Amazon guru for your people, because he had these people that weren't Amazon people. They were just like guys that followed him for motivational content. I was like, this is perfect. You need to sell mentorship for whatever amount of money and sell different tiers. You should sell like whatever for a beginner, whatever, somebody else, all this stuff. Take that cash flow, keep half for yourself. And then if you want to buy more and more inventory and not be super leveraged, put it there. But I was like, well, honestly, I would keep that all for yourself and then just use the rest of the inventory for just, for actually inventory, all the money from Amazon. He did it, and he ended up selling like 2 or 3 mentorships in the 2 months that I was with him. Sold them for a lot of money. And he was like, dude, yeah, this makes a ton of sense. I'm like, yeah, and you can make a bunch of money doing it. And then you can also, you're going to get better and better at Amazon. And this guy was not even like good at Amazon. He was not good at all, but he's teaching people who don't even know how to start an account. He can get them to 10K a month. He can get them to 5K a month.
Right.
And these people are just people that want a side hustle or whatever. So you can actually diversify and scale if you don't mind to make videos and stuff like that every day.
How much was his mentorship?
He had set it up in a weird tiered way. So he was a big like Wes Watson fan, and Wes Watson has like all these different tiers of all this stuff he did. I think he did, and you got to remember, like this is so he had no idea what a mentorship thing even was. He paid me, but like I just charged him. I don't know, it was like 5K, something like that. And he was charging like, okay, $1,500 and I'll help you set an account up. And like everything's done for you. I'll tell you exactly what to buy, all this stuff, and then we're done. And then it was like, maybe it was 5K or something. And it was like full 3 or 6 month thing until you reached whatever amount of sales. And he would like structure it out this way because he was literally selling it like people didn't even know. Like they were just following him for losing weight and stuff like that. And it worked. And I don't know, I haven't talked to him in a while. This just reminds me to talk to him, but I bet that he's making good money doing it because I still follow him on Instagram and he's constantly posting his Amazon stuff. And he wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for, that.
Wow.
Yeah. But anybody can do that type of stuff, teach somebody in real life. I know another guy, same story. Hopefully people listening can use this in motivation as well. I know a guy that I mentored as well. And in real life, he talked to 3 of his friends, charged 3 of his friends way more money than I would have expected for mentorship, but they could see his real results. So, you can only show so much on the internet when people believe you. In real life, they're like, oh, this guy is rich. Like he's making loads of money. I'll pay you this much, dude, and charge like a lot of money and help like 2 or 3 of his friends. The reality of this stuff is most people quit. So he ends up, that could burn some relationships, but that added him an extra like 20K or whatever amount it was just for those 3 people. So you can do that type of stuff. Like people would be so surprised how like you might not think you know a lot, but you know way more than somebody who doesn't know anything.
Yeah, one of the biggest takeaways from the conference was someone was saying that a lot of people, they had like these frameworks for basically how you can, grow a business or whatever. And basically it was just like, okay, here's the idea. You have to take action on the idea. What was the result of that action? Did it work? Did it not work? And they had this like whole chart or whatever. And like it was kind of crazy because what he was saying was, and you take this for granted, but they're like most of the people outside of this room don't do shit. Take no action. Like in here, we all feel like we're behind each other. We're behind. Like this person has a better business. They're making more money than me. Like it's this weird thing. And you just assume because like you're in this room and like I talk to you all the time. Like I'm surrounding myself with people who are always taking action, always building something, always, and I feel super behind. And like, what the reality is, it's like it's not like that for everyone. And that was like a big eye opener for me, where I'm like, shit, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, dude, I agree. You can kind of see it too, which I struggle with this because I'm really hard on myself for not working hard enough. I mean, you are too. Me and you, every time this podcast is in, we both are just like, dude, what are we going to do? We suck. All this stuff for the people.
Yeah, I'm like super sick today, and I was just like, shit, we don't have a podcast. Like, let's just bang through this real quick.
Yeah, but in reality, it's like, yeah. And if you talk about like the stuff like I'll talk to people in real life about these different marketing things or stuff that I've learned. I'm like, whoa, I have such a level of knowledge and action taking on this stuff ahead of everybody else. Like this is an example, and my friend probably won't watch this, but if he does, sorry, man. But we've split up this offer that I have, the fitness one, and I'm going to do like all the tech stuff, all the marketing, all this type of thing. And I'm like, dude, just be the guru, like be the face, make the content, get good at content. And it's been like months and months and months, and he just is like, he'll post some, he'll not post some, and I'm like, dude, if you ever thought,
consistent,
what is it?
He's been more consistent.
Yeah, well, not recently. No, not.
Yeah, he did. He has fallen off. Yes, he was doing really good. I think it was like after we did that podcast, like he was posting every day. I'm like, all right.
Well, now it's been so long, and I'm like, dude, have you ever thought to just like get a course? I can get you any course on the internet like for free. I was like, so let me get you a course. You take the course and then just apply this stuff. And you understand that if you do this, we will get rich way faster than me trying to like sit here and bang this out at my computer. He's like, oh yeah. Now he took the course yesterday, but it's like a lot of people don't even put that together, that it's like, okay, I have this goal. All I have to do is just learn the stuff and then try to do the stuff for a little while, and it's going to work. They just don't even, I guess, see that step. It all just looks so big from the outside. They don't even take step number one.
Yeah, agreed. And another takeaway too was from the conference is like partnership. There were so many people that were partners, whether it was in software or business or just like coming together. Like obviously the conference was put together by 4 people, right? So it's easier to split the work. Obviously partnership could be like rough as well, but there was just so many people who had software there that had partners, like whether it's like a marketer, a software guy, or an investor, a software person, and the face of it. So I think partnership, like one of the apps, I'll tell you about it later. I don't want to like blow it up on here, but basically they were just had an idea for software. They had no idea where to start. They were, oh, let me learn how to code. No, like I'm gonna find someone who could help me build this. And sure enough, they found someone, and he was able to like map out exactly what he wanted, and then that person was able to build it. Then they found both of them weren't marketers, so then they happened to run into a marketer, and then it turned into like a 3-way partnership, and it was really successful.
Yeah, it makes sense. Which it's funny though. I just watched Alan talk about this, about partnerships and these type of things, and he's like, when you guys go into these partnerships, what happens a lot of time partnerships is, especially if you don't, that's a better way to set up software. You kind of have to have a developer, you have to have somebody that's the face of it, that kind of thing. But if you start doing stuff that's let's just think about this brand that me and you were going to do, almost over a year ago at this point, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, time flies. But yeah, that's a long time ago. But anyways, when you have like 2 people that are working on the same kind of stuff, somebody ends up working way harder no matter what, because that's just the way it always is going to go. So then when the money does come in, it's like, well, whoa, man, I deserve a little bit more than you here, which makes it weird. But also, if you want to make 500 grand, you have to make $1 million, because now you have to split it between 2 people. So you have to make double the revenue, when a lot of the times you could probably work alone and make 700 grand. And like, so you have to sell, 30% less, but you make 20% more. And that's a lot of times like how that partnership stuff works. But I do agree with you. And I think a lot of the software stuff, for sure, you can't do it like alone. It's just doesn't really work like that unless you already know how to code and somehow you know how to market, which I don't think there's a lot of guys that know how to do that.
Yeah, definitely not. Because you could just go so much faster.
Yeah.
Especially if you have someone with an audience, because you could just do beta testing and kind of get that going and then like feed through the information. But if you had to do the beta testing yourself, gather information, then code it, and do all that shit, it would take you forever.
What was your you don't have to answer this if it's not a good question to ask, but what was your favorite piece of software that you heard about? Like, is there any that stood up above?
If you're still listening to the podcast at this point, you are into it and a fan, and we really appreciate that. If you could do us a solid and subscribe, and do all that stuff. It really helps the podcast grow. And secondly, if you could tag us on Instagram, just take a picture of what part you are at the podcast. If you like it, tell us what you think about it. Tag me at Side Hustle Experiment, and I will definitely share it. Now let's get back to the podcast.
The rest there
Um,
that you thought like, whoa, I might try that out, something like that. Even if it was for books only, like, just hypothetically.
Yeah, I think what Rakin's launching, so he's launching something called Replane Catcher. I don't know if it's available to the public yet, but basically he does eBay to Amazon flips. And basically it seems like you could basically take your list of ASINs that you bought in the past, load them into this software, and then it will just ping you every time there's a new listing on eBay. So you could rebuy that. And then there's others. You could also put, like, I guess if you came across something similar to, like, if something's out of stock and not profitable, or out of stock and profitable, you could, like, set an alert to do that as well, instead of just setting like a million eBay alerts. So this software would comb through it. And if I'm not mistaken, it might have even had a feature. Don't hold me to this. They might have been talking about something else, but almost where you could set up like auto bid. So you would be able to be like, hey, like this microphone right here, if I could get it for $5 and it's on auction, they would like auto bid. So if it ended at like 3 a.m, the idea was it would sneak in like the last bid at like 2:59 a.m.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's already stuff that does that. So I'm sure it's not impossible to integrate that type of thing.
Yeah, because they were talking about some of the softwares that did that. So I wasn't sure if they were talking about softwares that did that or they were saying that they integrated it. I would guess they probably integrated it. I don't know whether they talk about it without integrating it. But that seemed like pretty cool, especially for like an E-to-A business, because that really doesn't exist in Amazon.
Yeah.
Where you could just throw a bunch of ASINs into something. I mean, I guess tactical arbitrage, technically. You could throw all your ASINs in there and it will scour the web. But then it's just not as effective because, like, for eBay, you're only searching one site.
Yeah. This makes me think about something with these alerts. Back in the day when like 2020, 2021, even a little bit of 2022, I didn't even know how to source really. I just would follow. I was in these good Discord groups and they would A-to-A alerts and stuff like that. And I always had this thought in my head of what if I could build a team of 4 VAs that would work 8-hour shifts at a time and just stay on those alerts and just buy everything from the alerts that I said was good, like put it on a list and like buy it every time. Or on Amazon to Amazon alerts, you could literally buy them all and then just wake up the next morning and cancel the ones you didn't like. So they would just have a little bit of a criteria and you can do it. I thought about this forever, but I'm like, man, maybe that's super hard to manage. Maybe I should have done it, now that I think back on it, but because it wouldn't have been that hard, you're paying, what would it be? If you paid them $4 an hour, it'd be $32. So like $96 a day. Cause you'd have to split.
Oh, right.
Yeah. 3 8-hour shifts at a time, $100 a day. So you're at $3,000 a month. Yeah, maybe. And you'd be personal. I think you'd have to have a lot of capital if you're like person stuff nonstop every day and you can buy for literally 24 hours a day. And you'd have to really train these people because you couldn't have them mess your stuff up. And then you have to buy them computers and VPN so it's not flagging your stuff. It would get complicated, but maybe people have it set up like that. From what I understand, there's a guy, the Jeff guy, that's been popping all over socials these days. I think he has a situation kind of like that.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, probably. I mean, that's definitely an interesting kind of model for sure, and could probably definitely be profitable.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, how's your? I guess no, there's not. I was going to say, how's the influencer stuff going? Well, how is it going?
Influencer stuff's going good. Definitely picking up. The commissions are like a little lower this month because they're doing like this big promotion.
Yeah.
Basically, if you make I told you about it, the 30-second video or under 30 seconds has to be vertical. If you upload all that, they'll pay you out a bonus. They had 2 different bonus tiers. So I got that done, which is like kind of cool. I basically paid, I don't know, $300 for all these like random shit. Hopefully turn that into like $3,000 or $3,500, which would be nice. That and everyone says like when they do these promotions, commissions tend to be down a little bit. So they've been like right around, I don't know, kind of a little lower. It's higher than last month, but last month was lower than my best month. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out like
What's
consistency
going on?
on that kind of stuff and how that works. I'm getting some brand deals, which is good. Some are like really, people are sending me books to review, which is crazy. Like, so I just got a book and they'll pay me like $20 per book, which doesn't sound like a ton, but this guy has a lot of books. So it literally takes me 40 seconds. He gives me like the talking points or whatever. I just like hold up the book, like flip through the pages. This is what it looks like. Go through some of the talking points. So I've done like, I don't know, 5 to 7 books for him already. He just keeps sending me more books.
$20 a book? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, for like literally 30 seconds of work. A brand sent me, I don't even know where it is, an iPhone case. And they paid $35 just for the iPhone review. So that was super simple. It's like, oh, this is the iPhone. Like, so it's starting to roll in. Like, it just takes time. So I think being in this Creator Connections program, which is like a program from Amazon, where you request all these free samples, these brands are definitely more legit
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're in this program. And then, like, as I'm just doing videos for that, I think other maybe competitors or other people are like, oh wow, like if he's gonna send a product to him, it's worthwhile for me. I've been getting some crazy stuff too. I got some, what did I got lately? I got like these sweet pair of like Sony headphones.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool. I got some like Gucci sunglasses. I got Burberry sunglasses. So I'm getting all sorts of stuff from like these bigger brands. They're not paid yet, but who knows? It could be leveraged in the future. That like,
Are they real?
yeah, they're all real.
Real Gucci sunglasses? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
because
not.
it has to be because it's coming through like the Amazon Creator Connections
Damn. Wow. That's
program.
pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you make it. That's like probably 200 or 300, $400 there,
Yeah,
right?
I have over like 200 items, maybe 300 that I've been sent that like I really need to move.
Yeah.
Like either on Facebook, like it's hard because I have a liquidator, so I think I just have to put a rule in place. Like if it's under $20, I'm just gonna give it to the liquidator for $1. Like a
Yeah.
good example is like there's like these bug traps that sell for $20. So I had to use one to do the demo. So now there's 11 in the box. So like for me to like take the pictures and like kind of explain that for Facebook Marketplace, like whatever, I'll just give it to him for $1. Because it's like what, how much could I potentially make on that? So I have
Yep.
to kind of weigh the time. But then I also have stuff that's like it's $120 air purifier. Right. So like I could probably get at least 50 $60. Like all this stuff, like I use it literally once for the video and that's it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I have like a projector that's worth like $200 that like I just set up for the video. So like there's probably like a good $2,000 or $3,000 worth of stuff here.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's
In a
that's how
single
you can
video.
make some money, man. That's the
Yeah,
easy
for
way.
sure.
Have you thought more about the TikTok shop thing? And before you say that, I saw this guy last night on Twitter. This kid that had been doing TikTok shops since the beginning of the year, and he made $50,000 last month.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is like kind of next on the horizon to kind of start incorporating that kind of stuff. And just like UGC content in general. Because yeah, like OA will be great for Q4, but I mean some of this UGC stuff, like it's just getting paid to make a minute video, $35, like for an iPhone case that I could use anyway, is just like insane. Like
yeah,
just getting all this stuff, it's just absolutely insane how much stuff I've been able to get. And now get like paid for it. I know people getting like, supposedly you get these deals on retainer where they pay you like 2 or 3K a month, and basically all you have to do is make like 6 to 8 videos that they'll use on TikTok or whatever. And some of them supposedly they could just be raw, and then like the brand will edit them how they see fit.
oh yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm definitely looking into that. I just have like way too much going on right now, uh, with like influencer and everything else, and OA and all this other stuff. But yeah, I mean, TikTok is definitely on the horizon. I just need to create an account. I've been listening to like this podcast. It's called, I think, Brand Meets Creator. Is it? And they focus a lot on UGC content. and they were just kind of talking about like how you almost want like everything aligned. So I think I just need to come up with like a good name for UGC content, and then do that for TikTok, Twitter, and the new YouTube page I have. I just have that all be the same, get like a professional email address, and then like really start make the portfolio, and then really just start leveraging this stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I've been thinking about all this UGC stuff and watching all these people like blowing up on TikTok and everything, and then knowing that I have like the skills that I do now, I've been thinking a bunch about starting some. Like, what am I going to do in the future? Because these offers I have now, I mean, they're dope, and I hope they work out well. But that's not going to be my long term, vision to get super rich or anything. But I think back when we did that mentorship, I had that guy. That guy was writing down like all the stuff we liked. Mine was a lot of consumable stuff. Like supplements and that type of thing. So I do see somewhat my future of building some type of supplement brand. And I think that these days, it's a lot easier with the affiliate type thing. If you can pay affiliates a good amount of money, you can kind of just get lots of purchases, get lots of reviews, that type of thing. And I've heard a lot of good, tips on building it. It would just be like, what do I want to build? And what's kind of the mission of the thing. But I do see myself doing that eventually. If we keep this podcast up longer and longer, maybe you guys will see my supplement brand drop. But I have some stuff in mind, but we'll see. Because you can start it cheap. It doesn't take long because all you have to do is white label a supplement off. There's tons of companies to do it. Cost you a few grand for MOQ, 100, 200 bottles or whatever. Ship them yourself. I already know how to do that. I already have a label printer. All I have to do is just get the site up, get the marketing working. I don't have to 3PL the warehouse. I don't have to have somewhere else do it.
True.
And I don't know. I've thought more and more about it recently, but I don't know the rules behind like FDA stuff and that type of thing. Sure.
Yeah, that'd probably be the only holdup. Well, that's what I also think about too, like having like a TikTok account. I could like build it big enough or like go viral on a couple things. That would definitely open me up to the future, like to launch something or do whatever as well.
Yeah.
Because like you have an audience. I mean, I don't know how good a TikTok audience is because I don't really have one, like conversion wise or whatever. But it's something anyway.
Yeah, it just depends who the audience is, really. There's a copywriting guy. His name's Mason Cardinal or Cardinal Mason. I don't know what.
Yeah.
He has millions on TikTok, and he was doing over 150K a month with just TikTok webinars.
Damn, that's crazy.
Profit. Maybe it was over that. I don't even know. But he made a lot of fucking money. And he still does make a ton. But I know now they have a bit broader, traffic sources and stuff. But it was just TikTok for a long time. And I watch people make a lot of money on just TikTok. Because if you combine it with IG Reels too, that helps too. And if you got big enough on TikTok, it would drip into your IG. Then you can talk to people a little easier on Instagram. Use stories. That's how a lot of it works. I think the whole funnel for the TikTok stuff, which I took a big mentorship on this, and it taught me a bunch. It's how I'm here. But you would take all these viral on TikTok, push them to Instagram, and then your stories and your DMs on Instagram would sell the people. And your most, the best followers would actually go follow you on the other platform. So that's kind of
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of the funnel of how that stuff works. But if you were doing affiliate stuff, then you just get deals with brands. Like some of these deals, if you can get enough views, people will pay you a lot of money to review stuff.
Oh, for sure. And that's kind of the goal as well. It's kind of like I was listening to this one episode and they were saying that this person gets like stays at all these Airbnbs for free. Basically what they do is they'll find like, I think they're in California, so it's a little better out there, but it's like they have these like theme Airbnb houses and like they'll let them stay for a week and they make content about like how cool the place is, like all the little features and like all the cool stuff they have. And they have like somewhat of a following too. And they'll also give like the Airbnb house like all the footage so they could use it to promote as well on their handles. So they're getting like, hey, this influencer stayed at this house, and then they have all the video that they made and B-roll and stuff like that to kind of promote. And I was like, damn, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And they're paying them on top of that. So on top of free stay to kind of create all this stuff.
So many ways to make money, man. I saw something recently. It was like, the hardest part about making 5 to 10 grand a month online is there's just so many ways to do it. It's just hard to like find a way to do it. I thought
It's so
that was
true.
so relatable.
Yeah, that and getting started. That's the two hardest parts.
Yep. I mean, you're talking about the Section 3 to wrap this back around a little bit. I've been seeing so many on Twitter of people getting hit with these Section 3s and stuff. And I talked to Kyle, we had him on the podcast, I just called him
Did you get
randomly.
one?
No, but he was asking about Amazon stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, man, just not doing much anymore. Like the risk just doesn't seem worth it to me. I'm
Man.
trying to sell through my inventory. He has a lot more inventory than like me. He still has enough to. I don't know what he's doing a month. He didn't tell me exactly. I don't think, or I just don't remember. But yeah, he's just kind of doing a different thing now, and he was doing more than me. I think he did like over $2.5 million. Knew a lot of
Yeah.
the big sellers. But yeah, I think back on the pod, he was more bullish about it, thinking it, and then now he's just like, yeah, I don't think this is worth it because he's watched all these people, just get tore down. I think.
Yeah, I see a lot more people getting Section 3s and they're moving towards like TikTok affiliate shop,
Yeah,
and other things. It should be interesting though too, because I feel like RBOPs like in a way predicted that, right? Hey, all these people are gonna just chase the next thing or whatever. But I also think
yeah,
again, like this is a very broad statement. But I understand like sometimes if you get a Section 3, like it's not your fault. But I don't know. Like I've always thought when someone gets suspended, there's always more to the story. So like I don't know. I could see you also breaking terms of service on TikTok or whatever. Like I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I think RBOPs they, I get the theme that they go for when they say that stuff. Like they're trying to put some more positivity, I think, in the market. But
Yeah.
the problem is, like, all these guys we see quitting, like, you just can't even imagine how many are joining. Like, it's just not even close.
And imagine like what that's what we see.
Yeah.
So if what we see, there's so many more people behind the scenes
Yeah.
or
Well, they're
people we
quitting.
don't even know or don't have social or whatever.
Yeah. But my point is that just there will be way more that join. Like, the whole, because, I mean, it's just a simple equation. Like, people aren't running ads and people aren't making YouTube videos and people aren't doing all that shit for people to quit. They're doing it for them to join and pay for their stuff. So that cycle, as long as is money to be made in the marketplace, which there always will be, like it's never
Yeah.
gonna, unless there's 300 million Amazon sellers in the next few years, which there's not, then there will always be new customers for the information. So that cycle will never end. Like if anything, it'll get worse because what you'll get is just a worse and worse crowd that comes in on listings, and you just have to have a better and better edge. Because I mean, even the listings now, I saw that Nike got gated or whatever for a lot of people. Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
and Jameson were saying that, and I went on there and I'm like, okay, cool. I might come back to sell on Amazon for a little bit and just sell some of this Nike stuff that's easy to find. I got on there and there's still over 100 sellers on each listing. I'm like, what the hell was there before? If there's still over 100, what happened before the gating? Or there was 50, 80 on these things and they weren't even profitable. I was looking, if you get them at 40% off or 30% off, still not even profitable. So it was just like, I don't understand. I don't even understand how that's happening, but I've been out of it so long. Maybe I just am not having the right suppliers. But then you do the Kohl's cash math and stuff, and it's like, okay, now you're like 60% off, or I don't know how people do that. But that stuff really wrecks that type of thing too, because there's just no other way to get stuff that cheap.
Yeah, and I agree like 100%. And yeah, I mean OA and other arbitrage, yeah, will always be there for sure. Um, but yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of people almost either scale back or they're just going to have it as like a side hustle or whatever. I saw they gated or
Lego,
supposedly Lego,
that's big.
which I don't think they re-gated anyone. It's just new sellers can't get ungated.
Oh, well, that's probably good.
According to Twitter. I mean, obviously, there's, I don't know, it's Amazon. So what happens on my account could be different what happens on Drew's account. And there's really like no rhyme or reason for it. So yeah, I'm not really sure if that is the case or it's not the case. But I mean, that would be pretty crazy. But even if like, again, it's like one of those things, like even if no one else comes on,
It's still a
it,
lot.
yeah, there's still a lot of people who could sell it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. That is
You
funny.
might be able to sell your account.
I know
You could sell
eventually.
Nike.
Yeah, people have asked me that before if I would sell it because I do have all this, and I also have all the data. I never delete my
Yeah.
listings, so I have all these listings. But the big thing is, I think eventually it would be a cool little side hustle to start sometime in the future, you know, or a job. You know, if I get married and all that stuff, it's like you just let her do that. You know, sell stuff on Amazon, that type of thing. That's kind of where I'm looking at with the Amazon account. And I think it's always going to be valuable. It'll only go up in value, especially if people get good. Again, it's just these grandfathered accounts. Then yeah, that'll help even more.
You still have
But
inventory?
it's good. Well, what is it?
You still have inventory?
Yeah, a lot in my not at Amazon. I'm almost completely out at Amazon. I don't even buy 10 ASINs, but in my apartment that I'm looking at right now, yeah, a lot. And a storage unit still full. But I'm looking at that. I don't know if I said this on the podcast or not, but I got charged. My storage is $306 a month, which is ridiculous. That's like a lot of money every year. But I'm looking at that as kind of a bank account, like a savings account that I just pay $300 a month for. That's kind of how I look at it. Because if I ever go completely broke or something crazy happens, at least I have all this stuff that I can get rid of and pay my rent. I can get rid of it, do whatever. So I would get rid of the stuff, but the money doesn't affect me. Like I don't need the money right now. So I'm not trying to liquidate all my inventory. And as you know, a lot of this inventory goes up over time, these toys and things like that. So maybe it's worth $100 today, but in 3 years it's worth 200. That stuff's already happened. Like I had some Stanley cups that were, worth $80, $90. I forgot to sell them. I started selling them, this year when I started liquidating stuff, and they're worth $150, $140 on eBay. So they go up. Yeah. So that kind of thing helps. And I think it'll just be valuable for the future. But the other day I was sitting in my bed trying to decide if I was going to buy the UFC this weekend for the Sphere. I never buy pay-per-views. I'm always, streaming them. But I was like, man, I don't want to miss this one. I don't want to mess this one up because it's going to be so good. And I'm like, I don't want to spend $90 on it though. And I just look to my right and there's a Nintendo Switch that's worth $300. And I'm like, dude, buy the pay-per-view. You're going to be fine. Like you could just sell that Switch and make 3 times that back. I didn't end up selling it, but I did buy the pay-per-view. It was dope. That UFC Sphere this weekend was so good.
I didn't see it because we were at the conference.
Was there a lot of people there in Vegas?
Yeah, there was a ton of people.
Yeah, 2 big fights. Canelo fought too. I don't know if you know anything about boxing, but he's like the biggest guy.
We did see that too, which was like pretty crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was like packed. There were definitely people that had like shirts on for each fighter, like walking around and stuff like that. So that was like kind of cool to see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Where'd you stay? A hotel?
We stayed at the MGM the first 2 nights, and then we went to the Golden Nugget because the conference was right over there. So the Golden Nugget's on like Fremont Street, which is like old Vegas, I guess. Yep. Fremont Street is wild compared to like the Strip. It was pretty cool. It was really cool actually. Really different, but it was good to stay in both. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, dude, we're a little shorter than usual, but do you have anything else you want to talk about?
What have you been up to? How are your offers?
Decent. One of them, the fitness one, was break even. I made a tweet about it. I'm not like talking about the names of these things, but just the niches, just because I don't want people to look at it. But it was break even. Now it's kind of fell off a cliff. Not exactly sure why. I don't know if my ads have got fatigued, if the headline I'm using sucks, if the VSL is not very good. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just not doing as well anymore. Like a 1 sale a day. I'm spending less money because the way I'm setting up these ad structures. So I'm only losing like $20 a day, which is pretty good to acquire a customer to a day. And then the other one, that one was a real train wreck for a few days. Like nothing was getting sold. I was burning like $100 a day or $60 a day. But I got a sale yesterday. Already have a sale today, which is profitable, $10 today, and only lost $10 yesterday. So that's going a little bit better. And I think that because it's like a women's offer, obviously, it's hard to write for women when you're a guy. So I had some help with that. And I think I've opened it up a little bit. I think it's going to do better. Like I wouldn't be surprised if I get 2 or 3 sales today on that one. And then that one, that's obviously got way more potential. And I've had people look at it and they're like, this is a great offer. Like this can do really good long term. So that's kind of my goal with it. I'll send it to you after this too. I've redid the whole thing a little bit.
Yes, man.
Yeah, you'll think it's cool. But Yeah, I worked hard on it, dude. I was like sitting here for hours and hours building it because I built this entire website, which was so long. Like these funnels are like the web pages are 20 some pages of like scrolls. And
Wow.
then it just wasn't great because it was so condensed. So I'm like, that's a male type thing. So I got to make it for women now. So then I shortened the page, but it was still kind of condensed. So then I had to completely redo it on a whole different template, which was very, very difficult. It took me like 6, 7 hours alone. But I just cranked it out and I got it done. If I can just sit down and focus on it, I can do it. And also, you got to think the whole time, I have no clue what I'm doing. So I'm like learning as I'm going, like YouTube video, here's how you do this. Google, why is this not working this way? Trying to do stuff like that. But I think the finished product's pretty damn good right now. And then the ads, I'm getting way better at those. And I'll show you some of the ads that I've done too. Like that, those are getting way better. I'm understanding how to write the copy in the ads and how to make an ad that kind of blends in. It doesn't look so much like an ad. That's kind of the goal there too.
That was actually one takeaway. So there was a bigger software creator there, and someone asked them, "Hey, like, is there a good like course or is there a good person to follow for coding?" And their advice was try to solve your own problem
Mm-hmm.
and figure it out yourself. That's the best way to learn. And I was like, wow, that's such a great thing because, all right, I'm trying to figure out how to, I don't know, create an Amazon FBA calculator or whatever. So then you like go to YouTube and figure that out. And then, you progressively get better, hopefully, or you just have to solve all these little problems. So instead of being like, oh, like, what is the one thing? It's like put in the work and learn. He's like, you'll learn more that way than like any course or any mentor could teach you.
Yep, 100%. But yeah, that's all that's going on in my life. It's not really too much. Just been golfing a bunch, like I said last time. I've still not stopped.
Nice.
Golfing today, golfing tomorrow, golfing the day after. But it's fun.
Sweet.
All
All
right.
right, we'll call it here. Let us know what you think in the comments. We will be back next week.
With
Peace out, guys. Peace.
Peace.